Okay, everybody, good evening. Welcome back. We got some more Pro Football Focus stuff to take a look at here, and now we're doing the defense. I don't know what side of the ball played better last night between the offense and the defense. I feel like the offense was probably better, but the defense, it's hard to do too much better than they did as well, especially when one of the touchdowns they gave up was garbage time, and honestly, really, they didn't give up anything until it felt like the game was over, so... I I'm not married to that point of view. The defense was great last night, and a lot of the players that played were part of that greatness. So again, Pro Football Focus getting beat up a lot lately, but that doesn't mean they don't provide some really objectively good and valuable stuff. So we'll see what they have to say about our defense last night, and we will decide what to buy into and what not to buy into. First, though, back in 60 seconds. All right, guys, let's take a minute so I can tell you about Sleeper, a one-stop shop for all your sports needs. You can celebrate and chat on sports games in real time with other users. You can get the fastest scores, blazing fast sports news and sports alerts right at your fingertips. And of course, you can use Sleeper to play in fantasy leagues and win real money on picks contests. This is the way sports were meant to be enjoyed together. So download Sleeper today. Use promo code SBN to get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. And you can pair that with another promo they have right now where you can get a $20 entry free with no deposit required. So get both of those things going. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states and growing. So check out Sleeper today. Get to it and go have some fun with sports this year. Okay, welcome back. So, top line Okada. Who would have thought Ty Okada is by far your highest graded Seahawks defender in a game where the defense played really well? And obviously, he had the awesome interception. But what this tells you is that it wasn't just the interception. He played a really good game outside of that. And he's playing so well, maybe this team feels like they don't need to add a safety at the deadline here. So, I mean, you look at it, they think that he played well in all facets of the game. So, what else are you going to say other than we've got another kind of a late bloomer here? We had evidence that Ty Okada was just a relatively anonymous guy, and last few games he's been pretty good, and now this game he was our best player according to PFF, and it seems like a fairly defensible position to have. Woolen was next. Woolen actually, you probably didn't notice him very much last night, which I think speaks to how good he was and effective he was. So he's really starting to to round back into shape here, which is good. And there, by the way, even though doubt anything happens at this point, as of me recording this video, by the way, nothing's happened trade-wise. So I'll just go ahead and say that right now. Like, if a trade happens in the next few hours after me recording this before I upload it, then I'm talking to you guys from the past, I guess. But as of right now, Woolen has not been traded. But there remains a possibility, even if I don't think it's a huge one, that was Woolen's last game as a Seahawk. And if it was a great game. Ernest Jones, for the less than half of the game that he played, really good. And PFF usually doesn't like Ernest Jones, so this is notable. Kobe Bryant, clean. Drake Thomas, really good. Witherspoon, welcome back. Love it. Byron Murphy, and remember, Byron Murphy continues to play a decent chunk out of position. So it's hard for him to get well graded. So a 69.7 for him is really impressive. Anthony Bell didn't play very much, but well graded, I guess. Leonard Williams, pretty good. Honestly, with all the pressure he got on Jaden Daniels, I'm surprised this is so low. They didn't like his run defense, which maybe, I don't know. I can't really speak to that at this point. But, I mean, there were issues with the run defense last night. It's just a lot of those issues happened in garbage time, and I wish that PFF had a little bit of a better filter for stuff like that. Derek Reed, okay. Connor O'Toole, actually not too bad. So, I know it's garbage time, but he got out there and actually held his own. Mike Morris, not bad. Josh Joe, and this is kind of the cutoff. You get into the guys that PFF is a little less rosy on. Josh Jobe, it's only 15 snaps. They weren't crazy about Mafe, mostly because they didn't think he was very effective rushing the passer. I didn't notice Mafe a lot last night. I'll put it to you that way. Eamon Worry, even though he did make some nice plays, some nice splash plays, they thought that his all-around performance on the the game was lackluster. I can't say I agree. I do think there are things that Eamon Worry is doing that are bad and hurtful. I don't think they're so bad that he's a below replacement level player. And that goes quadruple for DeMarcus Lawrence, who is also down here. I know he missed a couple tackles, but I still think he continues to be a very effective player. Tyrese Knight, also pretty far down here. Derek Hall, even though he lived in the backfield. Same with Uchenna Nwosu. And I think with some of this stuff, you really start to see some of the limitations with PFF. I feel like they don't really do a good job at capturing this defense. Because this defense was great last night. I guess they gave up more than 300 yards technically. And I know they gave up some stuff on the ground, but they forced Washington's passing attack to be super inefficient. And they forced a turnover. They got a ton of pressure. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to me why there's such a even spread of colors on the grading. Like, this looks like the grading scale for a team that gave up 400 yards and 30 points or something like that, like a normal NFL game. Maybe even a little below average. I feel like PFF does not capture the Mike McDonald defense experience all that well. Right? Like, Nwosu, he's living in the backfield right now. Maybe he's missing a tackle or two here and there, but you can't tell me that really matters that much. Especially when you're playing against an elusive quarterback like Jaden Daniels. Chaz Surratt, not very good. Jaron Reed rated pretty low, which, I mean, again, like, I can see some of it. I don't think he played this bad. Pritchett, also pretty far down here. Peely. Now, Peely made his big play on special teams, so maybe he does deserve the 31 on defense, but I don't know. I certainly didn't think he was that bad. Missed tackle stuff. I do like to check the missed tackle stuff. This is why a lot of the players that got poor grades got the poor grades. Lawrence, 2 missed tackles. Knight, 2 missed tackles. Hall, 2 missed tackles. Eamon Worry, a missed tackle. Nwosu had a missed tackle. Pritchett had a missed tackle. So that explains it, I guess. I don't know if it justifies it. I don't think the missed tackles are causing damage commensurate to the damage it's doing to the grades of these players. Like, I didn't come away from that game feeling like Nwosu was wrecking this team because he can't tackle. I didn't come away from this game feeling like DeMarcus Lawrence's missed tackles were a big problem, or even really much of a problem at all. But that's the top line. Run defense, there's not much to say. Tyrese Knight led the team in run stops with 3, but still had a below average run stopping grade. There were a couple run stops from Ernest Jones. He obviously would have had more if he didn't get hurt. He was your top-rated run defender. Hello, Reek Woolen. I mean, that's pretty cool, right? Reek Woolen, high grade as a run defender. Witherspoon up there as well. Kobe, Bryan, Okada, guys in the secondary coming up, making plays. I mean, it's good. It's really good. But overall, not a ton of fireworks here. While I do want to reiterate that a lot of it was in garbage time, so I don't really care about it, it wasn't a great day for the run defense. I do think that there were some issues they had that they didn't have in some of these other games. So criticism is not entirely unwarranted. It's just going to be a little over-exaggerated based on numbers. Pass rush stuff. Again, man, we just sent a wave of pressure at Jaden Daniels, and it didn't all get home, but it's Jaden Daniels. He's going to evade it sometimes, and he's still going to make a play. That's the Jaden Daniels experience. So you got Big Cat and Derek Hall with 6 pressures each. Somehow, by the way, Derek Hall had a below-average pass rush grade. I know he doesn't have sacks, but you get 6 pressures on 16 pass rushes in a game. You deserve better than a 57.3. That doesn't work at all. Nwosu, 5. Lawrence, 4. I mean, again, these guys don't even get good grades for these numbers. I don't really get it. I don't get it. Like, the guy who does get a good pass rush grade in this game is what? Witherspoon, who had a very impactful pressure on Jaden Daniels. It forced the pick, but Sometimes it feels like this stuff is just kind of random, and I'd be interested to know how they come to these conclusions. How do you give a guy 6 pressures on 16 pass rush attempts and then give him a below replacement level grade for pass rushing? You know? What else do we got? Yeah, D-Law had the 4. Couple of pressures from Thomas, Murphy, Eamon Worry. Eamon Worry is getting multiple pressures like every game. 32. 32. This is starting to become like the standard for this team. They're routinely pushing into like 30 PFF pressures a game. And I mean, other teams in the league are not consistently doing this. Like Denver might be doing it. That's about it. Maybe the Rams. But most teams are not racking up pressures to this degree. Tyrese Knight, Jaron Reed threw in a little bit. Witherspoon, like I said. Morris, Mike Morris, Mafe. So, yeah, it's just a party in the backfield. And a less mobile and agile quarterback probably would have gotten sacked like 7 or 8 times last night. So, really, really good stuff. All right, coverage stuff. It's all going to be pretty agreeable, honestly, because Washington was not efficient throwing the ball. But this is where Woolen really made his money last night. Theoretically made his money. He still hasn't technically gotten his money yet, but 3 targets, 8 yards. 3 targets, 8 yards. That is the Reek Woolen that I know and appreciate. So he's back in the saddle, at least in this regard. And I'm not saying there aren't problems with Woolen, but those problems have really kind of been tamped down since he came back from the concussion, I think. And Ty Okada, 2 targets, 9 yards, and one of the targets was a pick. So you're not going to get too much better than that. And then you got Drake Thomas here, 3 targets, 9 yards. More than happy to live with that. And that's why Drake Thomas is out there. He's a better cover player than Tyrese Knight. And we'll see about Tyrese Knight in a minute here. But Witherspoon, 3 targets, 22 yards. Not amazing, but also not really a problem either. And even in a game like this, where he was technically one of the guys who gave up a little bit more than the average, I do think you see his impact as a tackler and run defender is very valuable, especially when compared to players like Pritchett that just aren't good tacklers. Josh Jobe got injured very early, but he got targeted once for 9 yards. This is where the Eamon Worry bad grade kind of comes into play here. Not only did he have a penalty, but 5 targets, 46 yards, including a 25-yarder, so they did give him a little bit of business in terms of like coverage bust type stuff, so it was not the perfect game that, it was not his best game. I don't want to even go to the perfect thing, but not his best game. Pritchett's been I'm sorry. Eamon Worry has been better in the other games he's played, but he's still bringing other things to the table that I think are very valuable, so I'm not down on it. Pritchett barely played, but 1 catch, 14 yards, whatever. Tyrese Knight, most of the damage was done on him, and he didn't go in until the game was basically over. It was 28-0 when he got in, so I think that tells you what you need to know. It was a lot of garbage time. 3 targets, 36 yards, not good, but what are we doing here? What are we really talking about here? It's not that big of a deal. So, that is your coverage grade stuff, and the only thing left really is special teams. Healy obviously gets the really high grade because he forced a fumble. Chris Stoll, Jarek Reed, Drake Thomas, Connor O'Toole, also well graded. Some of the poorly graded guys, we had Halani because he muffed the a kickoff. I mean, it wasn't a fumble or anything. He didn't lose the ball, but he did muff one. Tyrese Knight down here, Oots down here, Cody White down here, whatever. Not too much else to say. There is a little bit of standout stuff this week here, but overall, still a good unit, still a good group. Okay, that's it for this week. Pro Football Focus on the defense looking good. I like what I see. I think PFF does sell them short based on the actual play of the team, but I think there's just some blind spot they have with a defense like this. I don't know. Okay, I'll see you guys later. Go Hawks. And probably it for today, but you never know what's going to happen. All right, go Hawks.